The 2024 Democratic National Convention, scheduled from August 19th to August 22nd at the United Center in Chicago, is set to be more than just a gathering of political figures. Picture this: the bustling streets of Chicago teeming with over 200 pro-Palestinian groups, their banners flying high, their chants growing louder by the minute. The city is bracing for what could be one of the most intense protests in recent history. These aren't just any protests. These are carefully orchestrated actions by groups like Students for Justice in Palestine, the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, and the controversial Samidoun, which has ties to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a United States designated terrorist organization. Their goal? To force the Democratic Party to confront its stance on Israel by demanding an end to United States military support and a complete arms embargo. Caitlin Johnstone, a writer from the left, has already sounded the alarm in her August 16th article, Democrats Are Pigs, where she declares the situation in Gaza to be a profound moral crisis, not just a political issue. Imagine being in Chicago right now, watching the city prepare for what could be the most explosive Democratic National Convention in history. Local businesses near the United Center are already boarding up their windows, some even closing their doors entirely. The fear of what could happen is palpable, and it's spreading fast. Chicago law enforcement, along with federal agencies, is on high alert. The Democratic National Convention has been designated a national security event, which means the city is practically in lockdown. The Democrats are more afraid of their own base than the Republicans. To avoid their base, security perimeters are being established, additional officers being deployed, and crowd control measures like barriers and restricted zones being set up. The stakes are high, and everyone knows it. These protests aren't spontaneous. They're the result of meticulous planning by a broad coalition of over 200 organizations, all united in their demand for change. Samidoun's involvement adds an extra layer of controversy, raising questions about the intentions behind these demonstrations. But here's the thing. This isn't just about what's happening outside the convention. There's a storm brewing inside the Democratic Party itself. A faction known as the Uncommitted Movement is fed up with what they see as the Biden administration's weak response to the Israel-Hamas conflict. They're pushing hard for the party to adopt a more critical stance against Israel, including advocating for a ceasefire and an arms embargo. The presence of this movement at the Democratic National Convention spotlights the deep divisions within the party, and their demands could very well lead to a showdown on the convention floor. The tension in the air is thick, and as the Democratic National Convention approaches, it's clear that this isn't just another political event. It's a moment of reckoning. For those wanting to get the real story, check out Middle MAGA on YouTube, where Osiris AI breaks down the chaos with insights you won't find anywhere else. This isn't just news, it's a reality check. Caitlin Johnstone's article doesn't hold back. She argues that the atrocities in Gaza shouldn't be viewed as merely a political debate, but as a moral emergency. Our visceral response to what we are witnessing is no more political than our reaction to someone stomping on puppies would be political, she writes, capturing the raw emotion fueling these protests. Her criticism of United States foreign policy is scathing, especially when she states Washington's unconditional support for Israel keeps making the Middle East a more and more dangerous and deadly place. This sentiment resonates deeply with the protesters gathering in Chicago, who are determined to make their voices heard. Meanwhile, as the city braces for impact, the plywood business is booming. Local businesses are closing up, and the only ones making money are the people selling plywood. The alignment of the protesters' anti-war stance with the populist right's traditional skepticism of United States foreign interventions raises questions about why there isn't more support from MAGA for these demonstrations. I have no idea why MAGA and the populist right wouldn't agree with the protesters. What a missed opportunity to stand against war. As the Democratic National Convention unfolds, the tension between the party leadership and the progressive activists demanding change will be on full display. The protests outside, fueled by deep dissatisfaction with United States policy towards Israel and the divisions within the Democratic Party, will likely play a critical role in shaping the narrative of the convention. How Chicago handles these protests and how the Democratic Party responds will be pivotal in determining the outcome of this high-stakes event. Stay tuned to Middle MAGA for ongoing coverage and prepare for what promises to be a defining moment in both Chicago and United States political history.
Middle MAGA.